Hello and welcome. So list in Python is really what it sounds like. You can think about it similar to a shopping list pretty much. So there's a start and an end, and it's indexed just like a string is. So this is position 0 and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. Although the length of this is 5 since there are 5 values in it, and each of these is a separate value. And these are all different examples of lists. There are a couple of other data types in Python that do use this comma separated value structure, although only lists have the flat bracket to open and close them. Lists can also have different types of values in the same list. We have an integer, 2 strings, and a float here. And also for readability, you can break it up onto different lines like this. This is all the same list, just easier to read. You can also have an empty list. If you wanted to create a list that has nothing in it, you can just do an open and closed bracket. And you can also nest lists, which is what these last two examples are. So this right here is the first value in the list, and this is the second value in the list. So this list of blue and green is list 5 at position 0, and red and yellow is list 5 at position or index 1. This may seem confusing at first, but it's actually pretty simple. And if you're familiar with strings and string slicing, it works in very much the same way. So at this point, let's go ahead and look at some examples to see how this works. To do this, I just want to load in these lists that I have here into this Python shell, so I don't have to retype them all over here. And to do that, just go to run module. And now I haven't asked it to return anything, so we just get a blank line. But all of these have now been saved over here, so I can then reference a list and get that information back. And in case you are wondering, list 3 will show up in the same manner. It won't actually break onto different lines like I have it on the left there. And then list 4 is empty, as you might expect. Okay, so we can return the entire list back. Let's look at list 3 and say that we just want maybe Monday, which is going to be 0 because it's the first in the list. We get Monday back. Just the same, we can do this again. And if we want Wednesday back, we put in a 2. Because again, this is 0, 1, 2, and we get Wednesday back. And we can also manipulate this just as if it were this value here. So we don't need to set this to another variable or anything before we can start using the string Monday. So let's take two numbers from the two lists that we have. So list 1, and let's just go ahead and do the first number in that one. And we'll add it to say list 2. And we'll do the first number in that one as well. So what we're doing here is basically saying two numbers, we're going to add those together. List 1 over here is going to be 1. List 2 is going to be 1. When we hit enter, we get 2 back. Okay, well, pretty simple so far. What about list 5 and 6? How do we use our index values to get information from those? So let's look at list 5. Let's return the whole thing for right now. So that's our list. We have a list with 2 values, and each of those values is its own list with 2 values. So what I really want here is this string red. I just want that back. So let's do list 5, and then we'll do position 1, which should be this right here. I'm going to get red and yellow, but I really just want that red, so we'll do list 5, position 1, and then now when we do these brackets again, right directly after it, it's referencing what's inside of this list or whatever it happens to be. So if I put a 0, it'll give me red, and a 1 will give me yellow. So I want red, so let's do 0 here. So basically, list 5, this entire list, index value of 1, 0, 1. So this list is index value 1, and then index value 0 inside of this list, which is red. And we get red back. And you can more or less continue to do this. So let's look at list 6 that we have. Go ahead and return that entire thing. So we have 2 lists here, 1 and 2. This one has a string at its 0 value, and this one has another list at its 1 value. So let's start by trying to get the number 25 out of this nested list. So we can do list 6. And now we want this first list, which is going to be 0, like that. Okay, so we're getting there. Let's do list 6 and then 0. So we have this list again. Now this is going to be 0 again, blue, but we want to return this list, which is going to be 1. So let's do 1 when we get that list back. So then finally, we would just do 0, 1, and then if we want 25, this is the 0 value again, 0 and 1. So we can do 0, and we get 25 back. What about this then? If we take list 2, and we do 2 and 3. Now, list 2 is just one list. There aren't any nested lists inside of this. But remember, after we access this list, 0, 1, 2, 3, 2 is blue, this string. Strings work very much in a similar way that lists do when it comes to indexing and slicing. So this 3 is going to reference these different letters, 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is accessing the list, and it's going to return the letter E for us, like that. I know that was quite a bit all at once, but once you get the hang of it, it is pretty simple. I would encourage you to create a list similar to this one, and then see if you can get different parts or numbers or specific letters out of the list, similar to what we've been doing over here. Now before I close out the video, I want to show you two more things: how to add something to a list or pinned to the end of a list, and also how to delete something from a list. So first, remember, we have list 4 that doesn't really have anything in it, and we want to put something in there. So let's go ahead and do that. You just start by putting list 4 and then dot append. Now this method will basically place whatever is in these ending parentheses at the end of your list. So for example, if we want to put, let's do the number 1 into list 4, we get a new line back here. It doesn't return it for you, but it does save it. So if we were to reference this list again, it now has one value of 1 in it. And we can do this again. But this time, let's put maybe grape into list 4. And then if we return the list, we now have 2 values. And finally, let's delete this value, this number 1, from list 4 here. So to do this, we just do del space list 4, the list that you want to delete something from. This is delete list 4. Now we reference the part of the list that we want to delete by using index again. So this is 0 and 1, and if we want to delete this one, we just say delete 0, which is the first thing in the list. And again, you could do negative numbers, so -1 would delete the end of the list. And then if we do this, we get a new line back. It's not going to show us the list again, but we of course can bring it up, and we just have grape in here now. That's a pretty quick and simple overview of lists and list functionality in Python. I definitely would encourage you to practice some with them if you're not feeling super comfortable with it yet. And if you have any questions, let me know. And that is about it. Thanks for watching.